Check this out. Video from a new program using highly trained dogs to protect our kids from potential school shooters. And Andrew Pollock, the father of Parkland shooting victim Meadow Pollock, is part of it all. Joining me now is Andrew Pollock, Canine Training Director Joe Nick, Canine Handler Steve Manera, and Canine Meadow, who is named in honor of Andrew's daughter. What a wonderful tribute. And that's Meadow talking right now. Great to, this is the first time we've met in person. We talked by satellite, but wonderful to see you. How have you been holding up? It's
pretty good, you know.
It was a tough anniversary you just went through.
Yeah, the 14th. But, you know, we're doing these things. I'm working on projects to help make schools safer. And I think what we did in South Jersey, we could implement that throughout the country, and we can make kids and teachers safer everywhere.
Now, this is your dog, the one, I don't know if we can get a shot right at your feet here, but this is Meadow. Meadow is the dog, and that's why she was wanted, because she's very cognizant of her voice. She's, you alerted me, thankfully, that when she's off her leash, that's when she's in an attack mode,
They trained
right?
it special, so because when it's at the school, it's Steve always walks with it leashed up like that. And if a situation ever arises, it gets let go, and it goes right to the gunfire. It smells it out, it hears it, knows right where to go. But when it's on the leash, it's never been trained to bite on leash. So there can never be an accident wherever the dog is.
Now, how many schools is this in right now across the country, the idea of using canines to protect kids?
Well, right now, it's our first school we're doing in South Jersey. It's where Joe lives. We're very fortunate with that school district and a superintendent that understands what it's like to keep our kids safe. So it's the first school, and I think it's going to be the first of many. We're going to show you some videos, and I think something like this could be implemented throughout the country, and it's not limited to schools. It could be at malls, it could be at a church, a temple, anywhere where there's a large amount of people. Yeah. You could have a dog like Meadow, trained in an active shooter.
We've been running the videos, and you can keep running them if you want. But now, how many dogs do you have in a school, and how many handlers would you need in addition to each dog?
Well, right now in the school in South Jersey, Steve is the one handler at the school, and he works with Meadow approximately like 4 days a week at the school, and he's on patrol.
Steve, have you had any instance where you've had to unleash Meadow?
No, not as of yet. Just during training. Thank God.
Yeah, yeah. And how accommodative are the school officials? Because I know not all school officials go along with this.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Well, go ahead, Steve.
They love her. All the school officials love her. The kid, when I bring her into the cafeteria or the hallways, all the kids want to pet her.
They're not afraid of the dog, even though they know what the dog is capable of.
Yeah, no, they're not afraid of it.
So they've learned it. Now, everything hasn't been so smooth, right, Andrew? I mean, you've had some problems with bureaucrats who want to do things the old-fashioned way, things that they're used to. Bureaucrats are not very inventive. They're not very flexible, right?
Sure. Well, in Broward at Ground Zero, where my daughter was murdered, we have a superintendent who still can't even figure out how to do the hard corners, let alone put a trained dog in a school. So, you know, it's a process. And this dog, like here, the way it's trained, it's just incredible to see it in action. And just seeing what happened in Broward with the so many failures of humans, you know, like 7 deputies that were hiding behind cars, 1 hid behind a wall. With a dog like this at a school, it'll never happen. This dog will never cower to gunfire, which happened with my daughter, where she was on that 3rd floor waiting for help, and no one came and helped her. But if there was a dog like Meadow, he reloaded 5 times, Dave, inside the building.
So anytime a shooter's reloading, that's when the dog could stop him.
But it'll go even if he's not reloading. That's how good these dogs are. And the main thing is, you know, they're trained over and over again, so many repetitions, that you know that dog will never fail or cower when it hears gunshots. And that's that's important to me. Yeah. And by naming the dog Meadow was a fighter, my daughter. So at first, I was a little skeptical about the name. You know what I mean, about naming it Meadow. I'm going to name a dog Meadow after my daughter. But Meadow was a fighter, and she'd want kids and teachers to be safe. And that's Meadow's right there. Meadow, the canine, has the heart of a fighter. And that's what you want out of school.
Joe, how long does it take to train a dog to do this?
So this program is not like a police dog. It's a school dog. It took us with all the training. It takes about 8 weeks, 10 weeks, believe it or not. The dog is only trained inside that school to respond to an active shooter. It also responds to smelling gunfire, ammo, and guns. That's the 2 phases, sir. Unlike a police-trained dog that we have to put through a lot of 25 weeks of training, it's not simple. It's just the tactical way that we have invented of the training for this dog through the program that makes it a lot easier for us. And remember, the kids have now looked at that dog.
Right. It's training for the kids as well as the dogs.
It is trained for the kids. That dog, when that dog goes into schools, the school that took that dog in, we spoke with the kids. This dog is here to protect you, to possibly save your life. That's it. The kids have looked at that dog like, oh, she's like an inspiration. You hear the kids say, "Here comes Meadow." You hear the kids look up to her. It's almost like a soothing effect. And again, sir, it's just another way or layer of security for a man or a school to fix some of these problems. That's what
you do. This in addition to other stuff. How we talked about this before, but everything hasn't gone smoothly for you. You've had to deal with a lot of resistance from a lot of people, mostly bureaucrats, but some people have problems that you think actually might have led to the shooter coming into the school to begin with. How goes your fight beyond just the dog program? How goes your fight in trying to stop the hesitation that prevented the steps from being made that would have stopped the shooting to begin with?
Well, that's where it comes to ideology of people, of putting away their agendas and putting kids and teachers first. And in Broward, it's been a problem, but we're working on it. But I put my efforts into other areas where I could make a difference and where Meadow would want me making a difference. And that's why I put my focus into these dogs. But what's other important is tell them how you train Meadow for the gunpowder, where it would need a metal detector, where she could sniff out gunpowder and guns.
What we did was, sir, there's a dog out in the United States now called a vapor dog. We took some of that same type of training. It smells odor as a person's moving. Steve can go into his own school. Steve and his dog, Meadow. She can smell gunpowder. If she smells it, she starts to look and takes Steve to it. She does not engage it. She only engages an active shooter by the weapon.
But before that, she can smell it. She can indicate to Steve
in advance if someone tries to sneak something in.
They're showing him right now. He's searching a locker right now, Steve, and she's going to signal that there's a gun in the locker.
There you go.
So
that's terrific.
Just, the way society is, none of us would want to have to do this, but they leave us no choice that we want to better protect our kids and teachers, and this is what we're doing, and this is something that could be implemented throughout the whole country, Dave.
What a wonderful, wonderful tribute to Meadow. Thank you very
Dave.
much. Andrew, Joe, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Steve, thank you very much. I won't shake Meadow's hands because I don't know what she's going to do, but this is your dog, and it's a sweetheart.